Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have two hearings in a case where a landlord is seeking an eviction after buying the property. He tried to get the tenant to sign a new lease, but she kept blowing him off. Now she hasn't paid the rent in 4 months and owes him over $5,000. Not to mention there have been a bunch of complaints about her harassment of the neighbors. The tenant has a million excuses why she hasn't paid the rent, and of course, none of them are her fault. She even claims that because she's a single mother, she needed to spend the rent money on a hotel room when the weather was bad, so they could stay warm and cool? What does the judge think of all of her excuses? Let's find out.
Next case is Action Land LLC versus Stephanie Jackson, file 25-41161-LT.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Your Honor. Catherine Mott on behalf of the plaintiffs, and my client Trevor Burrows is present.
All right, I do see Mr. Burrows with us. The court staff informs me that the court received a telephone call from the defendant today at 11 o'clock saying that she was in the hospital last night.
No, I had a doctor's appointment today. I didn't know if I was going to make it. That's what it was.
Oh, you are here.
Yeah.
All right, so Ms. Jackson is present with us. Good. Have the parties resolved this matter, or where do we need to go next?
No, we have not resolved it. We're seeking eviction possession.
All right. Ms. Jackson, what do you say?
Well, I say that I don't agree. He became my new landlord the 1st of January, which I was okay with. I never met him. He was supposed to bring me a new lease. He never did that. Come April, the ice storm had happened. And unfortunately, I have 2 underage kids, and it was cold in here. So the E-Free Church was completely full. I have an autistic son. So I shouldn't have, but I did. As a mother, I went and I got a room for us to stay warm and cool, which had cut into my rent money. I spoke to Mr. Burrows and I let him. I was waiting for my income taxes, which took a while. I honestly didn't get them till June because they had to be, what's that called when they redid my taxes and made sure there was no mistakes. I finally had received them. While I was waiting for them, I was also making my current rent payments plus $200 more to go towards the back rent that I had missed in April. While I was doing this, he was accepting it. So one day we were talking and he said, I'm not gonna renew your lease because your neighbor,
Ms. Jackson,
which is my
Ms.
next door neighbor.
Ms. Jackson.
Yeah.
Ms. Jackson, let me interrupt you. I
Yes.
appreciate that you want to tell me everything that you think I should know, but at this rate, we're going to be here till tomorrow. I need to tell me, you need to tell me what your defense is and whether or not we need to have a trial on this matter. So is that what you're telling me? You don't think that you can resolve it with them?
No, I know I can't. I've texted him and he no replies. So I would like to take it to trial.
All right, Ms. Mott, do you believe that any sort of negotiations would be fruitful or not?
Only to negotiate a date for her to leave, I think would be probably the only thing. I mean, they're pretty resolute that they want her to not live there any longer.
All right, Ms. Jackson, in very short sentences and very small words, tell me why it is that you think that you aren't going to be required to leave.
I mean, if I'm found wrong, then I have no problem leaving at all.
Have you paid your rent?
To tell me, pardon me?
Did you pay all your rent?
I stopped paying my rent when he gave me a notice.
All right.
I paid it up until August.
Why do you think that you should continue to be there?
Because I'll keep paying my rent, but I have no control of my neighbor. complaining about flies around my trash can. I mean, if that's why you don't want to renew my lease, I have 2 young kids. I mean, it housing is hard to find. And if that's the only thing I did wrong, I'm sorry.
Ms. Mott, is there a lease in this matter? Because I don't have one in the court file.
No, there is not.
No.
My clients attempted to get her to sign the lease and she was uncooperative, is my understanding. And she was late on rent payments and there are other issues, and that's why we're just seeking possession.
I missed 1 month. I missed the month of April.
So Ms. Mott, help me to understand, the property was sold. Was there a lease on the underlying prior to the sale?
Mr. Burrows, do you know that information?
3/26 of 06 is when my lease is
Ma'am,
up.
ma'am, I'm gonna give you a chance to tell me what you need to tell me, but I need to do this in order. So I'm trying to get some
Okay.
information from Mr. Burrows and from their side, then I'll come back to you. Mr. Burrows, was there an underlying lease of this matter?
There was, and I believe it expired in the March of this year, and we're currently 4 months behind.
All right, Ms. Jackson, did the original lease expire?
No, it expires 03/26 of 06.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I do.
All right, you're going to need to send that to Ms. Mott. If there's an underlying lease and that you've not violated, that would be a proper defense. Okay. But if there isn't an underlying lease, then they do have the right to kick you out at this point. So I'm going to do 2 weeks of discovery, and then we're going to have a conference again. Ms. Jackson, in that 2-week period of time, you're going to need to send that lease or a copy of that lease to Ms. Mott so that she can review it. Ms. Mott, once you get a copy of it, I want you to have a phone call with Ms. Jackson and try to resolve this matter amicably. If you're not able to do that, we'll have a status conference in 2 weeks. Ms. Jackson, do you understand all of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're protecting your rights by giving you the opportunity to send them a copy of the lease. If you're good to go under the lease, they'll tell you that. Okay, if they dispute that, we'll have a court hearing in the future, and you'll be able to bring up that as well. So you haven't lost anything at this time. But we'll come back in approximately 2 weeks. My court staff will have to set the date for that. I don't know it at the moment. But in the meantime, you need to be in contact with Ms. Mott to discuss where to go and what to do and how to do it at this point. All right.
Your Honor, do
Yes.
I start paying rent again, or do I wait?
Well, if you're living it, I'm gonna let you negotiate that with Ms. Mott.
Okay.
I can't give you legal advice about how to do things.
I know.
But I am going to preserve your ability to make a contested claim that you are there under the current lease. I don't know whether that's going to hold water or not, but I'm going to give you that opportunity to do that. So send the lease over to Ms. Mott, let her take a look at it, give her a call, or at least let her know how to contact you. And then I expect the two of you to have talked as much as humanly possible about how to resolve this case prior to the next court hearing.
Can I get her information?
It's on the notices you received, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Mott.
All right, that's all for today then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is file 25-41161-LT. Counsel, you want to put your appearance on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Catherine Mott on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, I do see Ms. Jackson is with us as well. We were previously here on October the 6th. The parties were going to try to discuss the matter and attempt to resolve it. Ms. Mott, were you able to do that?
I had multiple conversations with Ms. Jackson. We were not able to resolve it. My clients, who are also on the Zoom, Trevor Burrows, want to proceed with the trial that has been set for today.
Ms. Jackson, is that what you want to do?
At this time, yes.
What seems to be the contested issue? Ms. Mott, what is your belief about that?
There's non-payment of rent for over 4 months plus fees, so it's over $5,000 of 4 months of non-payment. I talked to my clients about the option of working with her, but this has been an ongoing issue since the spring. Ms. Jackson, unfortunately, in no disrespect, makes big promises, but little follow through. And so, she has claimed that she could get assistance. She was supposed to bring me documentation to prove such a thing. She didn't do it. So we're kind of at a standstill now that we just can't continue to allow her to live there without payment.
All right, Ms. Jackson, from your perspective, what is the issue that you think would allow you to stay?
She's telling me that she's not receiving my emails of the documentation that I have. Friday, she wanted me to bring in the documentation. I had other things that I had to take care of that were out of Gaylord, so I wasn't back in time to drop the documentation off. I've tried emailing her.
Okay, Ms. Jackson, let me ask you to slow down for just a second. I don't need a rundown of what efforts you've taken to talk with the other side. I need to know, what is your legal theory upon which you believe that you should be allowed to stay? Why do you believe that you should be allowed to stay there?
I have a lease that states that my lease is still good until March 6th of 2026. I have filed an SER, and I have also, I can't move forward with the NIMSCA without knowing if he would even if he was going to take it. My last landlords were not acceptable with the NIMSCA program. They did not want to take it. So I wasn't sure if Mr. Burrows was going to take it.
What is an SCR?
It's a state of emergency relief fund through the Department of Human.
All right, so are you telling me that you have that? You've already
I do.
applied and have
I've
that?
already applied. I'm just waiting to see if I add this month on or if we just go with the back 4 months. Because when I did the SCR, I did not do this month of October. I only did the 4 months.
So are you telling me that you have 3 months cash in hand, or at least available upon request to the DHHS?
For the SCR, yes.
Ms. Mott, what appears to be the problem?
That, my understanding from my clients is that has been an ongoing discussion since the spring, and there's been no follow through.
Ms. Jackson, is that true?
I couldn't file for an SCR until I got the legal, till he finally took me to court. I had to have a legal binding stating that I was in losing my housing. And I did not have that. He would not, when I asked him to give me the legal documentation for the court, he wouldn't until here a couple months, last month.
All right, so what documentation do you have that shows that you have access to funds to pay your rent, Ms. Jackson?
I have the SCR and then my monthly, what I get. And then if he's willing to take the NIMSCA housing program, he has to go through getting the housing approved.
How do you anticipate getting that to me today?
I could bring it into you to the court.
Where are you located?
I am located right in town.
Ms. Mott, do you have a copy of the lease?
She produced some pages. It's not a complete copy. My clients maintain the position that she does not have a valid lease with them. Maybe she has a lease with the previous owners, which goes through 2026. I don't know. It's only 4 pages. It doesn't even it doesn't have the default remedies. It doesn't have signatures. And I've been working with her for 2 weeks to try to get the paperwork from her. We've talked on the phone multiple times. I think that this is kind of what my clients have experienced as they've been attempting to work with her. And unfortunately, there's just a reason why it just doesn't work for her. And they just really don't want to have to chase her for rent every month. And it's been an ongoing issue.
All right. Who do you have ready for witnesses, Ms. Mott?
Trevor Burrows.
All right, Mr. Burrows present with us?
Yes, sir.
I need to be able to see you, Mr. Burrows.
We're working on it.
Thank you. Ms. Mott, do you wish to have any additional statement to begin the case, or you want to just proceed with your witnesses?
We could proceed with the witness.
All right, Mr. Burrows, if you raise your right hand, I'll swear you in. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and put your hand down. Ms. Mott, go ahead and begin your questioning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record.
Trevor Burrows.
Are you the owner and member of Action Land LLC, which is the plaintiff in this matter?
Yes.
Do you own the property at 5 Avenue, Unit A in Gaylord?
Yes.
When did you acquire this property approximately?
Spring of this year.
Was
March,
Stephanie,
sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
No, you're good. I believe it was March and April of this year.
Okay. Was Miss Jackson a tenant of that property when you acquired it?
Yes.
To your knowledge, when you acquired the property, did Miss Jackson have an active lease?
No. I
Did you-
tried to get Miss Jackson to sign a new lease, but she was not cooperative in doing so.
What steps did you take to try to get her in a new lease?
We've had many contacts. I've called her, texted her. I've also stopped by to try and move forward and be a good tenant, and we're not able to put anything together.
I supplied to you what she produced as a purported lease agreement. Do you recognize this document?
We did have signed leases from previous tenants, but that was an incomplete lease. And she is one of the only ones that we never received a complete lease from the prior owners.
How much is Miss Jackson supposed to pay in rent per month?
So the previous agreements on the other tenants was $12.50 a month.
And if she does have a valid lease, is she in breach of that lease?
Yes, we're over $5,000 behind.
Okay. So she hasn't paid rent for over 4 months or 4 months?
Correct. And I've got text that I believe I had forwarded off to you that she knows that she's behind and said that, she's not moving out until she gets an eviction notice and wanted me to go through these channels.
Is Miss Jackson supposed to be the only resident in that unit, to your knowledge?
Correct, with no pets.
Do you believe she has unauthorized pets?
Yes, we've had numerous complaints, along with other things, but there's neighbors that I've had quite a few calls about loud animals, and they're afraid to call the animal control because they don't want to do anything to the dogs, but that was not part of the lease.
Have you had other problems with Miss Jackson as well as a tenant?
Yeah, we've had many complaints, as small as taking other, tenants' garbage cans to blocking the driveway where an ambulance isn't able to get an older gentleman in and out. I've even had videos from an older gentleman that is next door to her that she almost like taunts him, if you will, where she parks in the middle of the driveway where he can't get his vehicle out of the garage. It's just an ongoing issue with Miss Jackson, and we want to have good tenants that pay fairly and take care of things. So we've had numerous issues and need to get this resolved.
Have you talked to Miss Jackson about these assistance programs and helping her pay her rent?
The last few texts that we've had were back in May when she was behind and we were promising that we were gonna, wait for our taxes to get caught up. And so we've been, I feel like, more than generous with, you know, she keeps telling me that I'm waiting for taxes, waiting for taxes, waiting for money. And, yeah, we haven't received anything. I have no notice from any assistance, no, nothing.
Um, would you like to have Miss Jackson evicted for breach of lease?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson, do you have any questions for Mr. Burrows?
I just don't understand. I don't even drive, so I don't see how I could block somebody in.
Okay, ma'am, this is not the time for you to testify, but it is the time for you to ask questions. You'll be allowed to testify
I
in
have
the
no
future.
questions.
All right. Ms. Mott, do you have any additional witnesses or evidence?
Just a few questions for Miss Jackson.
All right, Ms. Jackson, you have the right to testify, and Ms. Mott, because this is a civil case, has the right to call you as well. So would you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Mott, go ahead with your questions.
Miss Jackson, do you agree that you are behind in paying your rent
Yes,
and you have not paid rent for 4 months? Is that right?
correct.
Do you have pets in your home?
No,
Do you
no
have
dog.
people? Do you have other pets?
No,
Do you have people living in your home that are not on the lease?
no.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson, is there anything that you want to tell me yourself?
Um, as far as blocking in, like I said, I don't drive, so that's inevitable. As far as the parking, I was unable to walk last year, and that's the only way I pulled up was to get in and out of the vehicle at the time because I was in a wheelchair. And the gentleman next door would have a fit, and I have documentation where he called the law on my Verizon men coming to fix my cable. And then once the sheriff's department got here, he proceeded to get loud and inebriated with those customers.
Talking about
I've
this year.
That was this year. That was January of this year, where he called the law on Verizon because they had him somehow blocked
Before we acquired
in.
the property.
Ms.
So,
Burrows, Mr. Burrows, this is, hang on. Mr. Burrows, this is not your time to make comments.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Ms. Jackson, I need you to tell me why you think that you should be able to stay, not what somebody else did to you at some other point in time. So what your neighbors did or didn't do doesn't make any difference to me about why we're here today. So the question is, why should you stay or why should you be evicted from the home? So I need you to tell me about those things.
as far as the rent, I made back payments on my rent while I was still making monthly rent payments. Mr. Burrows never took that into consideration. Being a single mother, I was taking where my rent was $12.50. I was paying $13, $14, however I could afford for the back rent.
That American cheese. She wanted extra cheese. The cheeseburger.
Mr. Burrows, are you at a restaurant with somebody talking in the background? All right. We're just going to mute you on this end so we don't get that feedback from the other people. Thank you. Go ahead again. I'm sorry for the interruption, Ms. Jackson. Go ahead.
As far as I was saying that I was trying to make the payments that back on the rent that I was already paying, the back rent, to make up for the April payment that I had missed.
Is there anything else
No
that you want me to be aware of?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Mott, do you have any follow-up?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Jackson, is there any other witnesses or evidence that you wish to bring to my attention?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Mott, any closing argument?
Your Honor, as Ms. Jackson has admitted, she has not paid rent for 4 months. She's in breach of the lease agreement if one exists. My clients have followed all the proper channels and are seeking an eviction, please.
Are you asking for any money judgment at this time?
No.
All right. Ms. Jackson, any closing arguments that you wish to make?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I've not been presented with a proper lease in this matter. I have been given testimony that the property is now owned by Action Land LLC, owned by Mr. Burrows, and that there was at least some indication of previous tenancy. He's now taken the appropriate steps to ask for eviction, including notice to quit, and bringing the case to court and going through the court's summary proceedings process for eviction. It does appear to me that Mr. Burrows has the right to recover possession of the property. They're not asking for a money judgment at this time. And so I will, Ms. Jackson has indicated she's failed to pay 4 months of rent, despite demand for those rents being made, and has not given me a legal reason why she should not be subject to eviction. So therefore, I will order eviction, that the plaintiff has a right to recover possession of the property. Plaintiff can apply for an order of eviction if the defendant has not paid plaintiff or the court of the amount due for all rent on or before 10 days from now would be October the 30th. So 10/30 of 25. Ms. Mott, the amount of rent that she would need to pay at that time would be how much?
Your Honor, is it possible to do the eviction regardless of payment? We're not seeking payment. We just want possession.
I'm sorry, you are correct. I can do that, and I will now. You can apply for an order evicting the defendant if they did not move on out before October 30th of 2025. The defendant may be liable for money damages after moving out if additional costs or damages are shown at that time and no money judgment is entered at this time, and I will sign that order today.
Thank you.
Ms. Jackson, the court's order is that you be out on or before October the 30th. If you fail to do that, Ms. Mott can apply for what's called a writ of restitution, but basically it's an eviction notice, and the sheriff's department will then remove you from the premises at that time. They will not wait for you to pack anything. They will not wait for you to leave or move. They will simply bring you out and grab your stuff and put it out on the street. So I would anticipate that you would need to get started moving much before that time. Do you have any questions, Ms. Jackson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. The court's documentation will be sent out to everybody today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.